Hello, one and all, and it is time again for more wonderful stories. I know you're excited. I certainly am, especially because this is from our friend Mango. Hey, Mango. This is Mango's fruitful collection of Neckbeards, a mini-series, The Soup. So now that everyone's had time to digest their their appetizer, I'll be serving our soup for this meal. Now, I know I said that this meal will be a collection of neckbeards, but our chef couldn't help but to put a playful spin on our menu for this evening, so please refrain from rioting, because I promise you that you will enjoy this story. Our soup for this evening is an entitled mother and her pupa neckbeard son, and recovering legbeard daughter. Oh boy. Honestly, I'm surprised that the father was relatively normal and kind. The mother was a short, portly woman with long brown hair and with highlights that she was very proud of. Not gonna lie, I was low-key jealous. But it's probably nothing compared to your hair, Moody. Oh, stop. I actually don't have highlights on my hair right now. It's not even dyed, it's just really long and brown. Anyway, I first met the daughter, RB, 2 years ago when it was my first year as a summer camp counselor. When I saw her at Arts and Crafts, she would do the bare minimum, and would then read one or two of the thick mangas she brought with her. One was the 7th volume of Evangelion, but the other was the 6th volume of Free Awatobi Swim Team. Okay, I know Evangelion, but I don't know the other one. Which is basically a fan service anime for girls where the boys are half naked for most of the episodes. Oh boy. Sorry for the rant. Anywho, she was still a bit of a legbeard who harassed some of the male staff or oldest boy campers. A lot of the female staff couldn't get through to her, and at one point when a coworker friend of mine, let's call him Climber because he worked at the climbing wall and in a climbing body, getting to the point of Jason Momoa, he came to tease me and paint a bit, and once I shooed him out so I could focus on the campers, RB winked at me and said, "I bet he gives you the best sex." Ew. I looked at her dumbfounded and tried to just laugh it off. No, we're not together, we're just friends. Mind you, RB is 14 at the time and Climber is 20. Whoa. I tried my best to get her to interact with her cabin mates and other campers, and if I'm honest, I feel like I made a little bit of a difference. Granted, it was probably a hairline crack compared to everything else, but, still there. And that's a good thing to do, Mango. You at least tried. I appreciate that. This past summer, I met her brother, PB. He was at the camp because his father decided, "You spent enough time on that darn computer." I saw him at Arts and Crafts a lot. In fact, I'm 95% sure that he only showed up for the shade, the fan, and other girls. I tried to make him feel welcome. Like with all neckbeards, I'm sure he thought, "A girl showing me common courtesy and kindness. She must be in love with me." Now, I had this camper who was 6 that I basically adopted for the 4 weeks, and he was just my little helper. He did things like cleaning a little, getting coloring sheets for his friends, and having the cutest little smile on his face most of the time he was there. PB did not like this very much and would terrorize the poor boy when the other counselor and I would be distracted with other things. What a jerk. However, his anger boiled over at water activities. The camp I work at was paired with a lifeguard as a type of assistant. The lifeguard I was paired with had the nickname Baywatch, and we called him this because he was trying to have Zac Efron's bod from the movie. I often forget that movie exists. We would playfully flirt now and again, harmless stuff really. Anyway, Baywatch was PB's head counselor and would tell me about how PB was showing some really odd behaviors. I kind of chalked it up to nothing serious, though I thought it was super creepy how he would glare at us from the water whenever Baywatch and I would tease each other. PB was 15 and a half when he was a camper, to be put in perspective. Like, at most, I thought it was puberty and nothing more. When his lunch rolled around one day, he came up to me with a folded piece of paper and blushing like a madman, sweating like a sinner in church. I made you this drawing in hopes that this properly conveys how I feel towards you. After all, thou art more lovely and temperate than a summer's day. Oh, the gentleman. Oh, the fedora tipping. Yeah, this kid literally quoted Shakespeare. I smiled at him politely and thanked him. I thought that it was quite sweet for him to draw something, and that without really thinking about it, I opened the paper. I apologize in advance for everyone, but unfortunately I cannot serve eye bleach as it's against food health regulations. Inside was a very crudely drawn picture of me and this boy naked and kissing with my poorly drawn hand on his junk. Oh my god. I quickly closed it and got up from the table, feeling really embarrassed. I took it to the chaplain for the camp, and we discussed with Baywatch what the best course of action would be. We took him out to the porch and told him why this is not okay. Even though we handled it as best we could, he got raging mad and started screaming at Baywatch for turning him into a teen cuck. Oh, and how it was because of him that he'd never get a chance with me. Because the obvious jail time I would get isn't a good enough reason, apparently. It was at this point we called his home and arranged for his mother and father to pick him up and take him home. I'm getting the distinct impression that this boy spends a lot of time on incel forums with language like that. When his parents came the next afternoon, I explained to the father what happened and showed him the picture. This poor man was so embarrassed that he just hung his head and apologized profusely. However, while he was loading his son's things into their huge blue BMW, the mother stepped out, and when I say she embodied a Karen, by God did she embody a Karen. She had the hair trim and flat ironed, along with the freshly done nails and the large obnoxious sunglasses. I went to greet her, but she gave me an icy stare and snatched the picture away before rolling her eyes. "Oh, this is nothing. You are stifling my precious baby's creativity and heart. You should feel lucky that my son showed interest in you. I normally wouldn't let him pursue a relationship with a mutt such as yourself." Now, this line broke me. I felt like time had stopped and I was thrown back to my middle school years. In those painful years when my class found out I was part Vietnamese and Native American. They would torment me. I passed for white a good amount of the time, but those awful kids would always say horrible things like, "Why don't you work at the nail salon with the other..." Oh, I'm gonna leave out these very wonderful racial slurs that these fucking kids said. I felt numb and sat for a minute before snapping back into reality when the mother demanded to speak to the boss and have me fired for making advances towards her son who could do no wrong. At that moment, I was so scared of losing my job and being arrested for something I didn't do that I had to walk away. From what the chaplain told me, the father calmed his wife down and scolded his son for what he did, and was enraged when he heard about how his son bullied a 6-year-old. I see the family at free days we have at the camp, but I only really speak to the father and daughter, who are doing pretty good. Daughter's finishing up high school early, last I heard, and I'm happy for her. Anyway, I love you all, and your appetizer should be arriving shortly. Stay safe and live your best lives. Mango out. Holy crap. So, the Neckbeard daughter seems to be recovering from what you've described, and that's good. That's a good thing. But their son sounds like pure incel, and the mother is just a pure enabler. She is going to keep letting this kid do whatever he wants until he winds up, I guess, either living in the basement complaining about how, because of his tiny wrist, he can't get laid, or some stupid shit. And he's going to be there till he's like 50. Who knows? I just kind of see that's my Moonhorse prediction for the future. Because unless something major happens to intervene this, and maybe Dad will do something about it, I don't see this ever changing. Enablers like that will just kind of let that happen, because, her precious baby can't do no wrong. I'm so sick of Karens and their bullshit attitude, dude. They disgust me. But, thank you all for watching, because it really means a lot to me that you're here and watching these videos. If you have your own story and you'd like to send it to me, you can do that by going to r/Moonhorse Stories and sending it there. If you'd like to keep the lights on in this place, you can do that by donating to Patreon or buying something from the merch store. There's new stuff in there all the time. I think they literally just told me they added some new things. I don't know, I'm going to have to go look. And if you would like to, and I'd really appreciate it, you can like, comment, subscribe, and share this video, mainly because it pisses off YouTube, but also it helps my channel grow, and I really appreciate that. I love you all so very, very much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Have a wonderful, whatever time it is. I don't know what time it is when you're watching this, but I love you. So, goodbye.